Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido o bienvenida a esta lección. Hello and welcome to today's lesson. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Nate. I am a gringo and I learned Spanish 8 years ago now in high school, and now it is my life mission to teach you Spanish because the language has changed my life and I want to change yours. Now, today we're going to be talking all about the verb ser. Now, ser is a very confusing verb in Spanish because we also have another verb in Spanish that means the same exact thing as ser, and that is ser versus estar. Okay, they both mean to be. Now, in today's lesson, we're only going to be taking a look at ser, okay? But if you go to my website, SpanishWithNate.com, you can see I have lessons on there about ser versus estar, okay? Now, what does ser mean? It means to be. Now, if you're going to remember one thing from this lesson, let it be this. Ser is used for things that are permanent, okay? So, in Spanish, the difference between ser and estar is that things relating to ser are permanent and estar are related to things that are temporary. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up there, okay? But just remember, ser is used for things that are permanent, things that don't change. Now, in some situations, you can argue, well, Nate, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't that technically be temporary? So we'll get into some of the kind of nitty-gritty details, okay? But you're going to remember one thing. Remember that ser is permanent, okay? Now, here I have some conjugation charts. If you've never seen conjugation charts before, get used to them because they are the holy grail of memorizing the different tenses in Spanish, okay? Now, ser is what we call an irregular verb in Spanish. Why is it called an irregular? Because it doesn't follow regular conjugation patterns, okay? So with a regular verb in Spanish, we can follow a simple formula every single time, and the conjugation rules will be the same. However, with ser, because it's irregular, it doesn't. It has its own unique conjugation patterns, okay? So, in the present tense, we have yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es. Nosotros somos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Okay? So, I am, you are, he, she, or you formally are, we are, or they are, or you guys are, you all are. Now, notice I added a little dash here. That's just because we're not talking about vosotros in this lesson, okay, which is strictly used in Spain. Okay, so we're not talking about that. Okay? So, I am, you are, he is, we are, they are, and so on. Okay, next, the preterite. Okay, now if you're not familiar with the preterite is in the past tense, and it's for one-time actions in the past. Okay, now I have lessons on this, so we're not going to go in detail here, but the preterite versus the imperfect. Preterite is a one-time action in the past. The imperfect is an ongoing action in the past. Okay, so for example, yo fui. I was. Okay, I was, and now it's over. Tú fuiste. Él fue. Nosotros fuimos. Ellos fueron. Okay? Also, when it comes to fue and fueron, here we have él, ella, usted. Okay? So this third person singular is what we call it. The third person singular conjugation applies to él, ella, and usted. Okay? So if I say, oh, ella fue, blah, blah, blah. Él fue, blah, blah, blah. Usted fue, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So if you're not familiar with that, and then same thing for fueron, right? Ellos, ellas, ustedes. You can use it for either or. Okay? And then finally, we have the imperfect. Okay? This is ongoing action in the past. Okay? Yo era. Okay? I was or I used to be. Tú eras. You were or you used to be. Él, ella, usted era. He was. He used to be. She was. She used to be. Nosotros éramos. We were. We used to be. Ellos, ellas, ustedes eran. Okay? They were. You guys were. They used to be. Okay? Alright, so there you have it. Okay? Feel free to take a photo of these because these are really important. I always tell students that the most important tenses in the Spanish language are the present, the preterite, and the imperfect. So if you can master these, then you're going to be well on your way to speaking fluent Spanish. Okay, so get these down. All right? Cool. So now let's come over to this side of the whiteboard. I'm going to try not to step on the light here because I accidentally did that earlier. I'm like It's because I have shoes on. Normally I don't wear shoes when I film lessons. Okay, fun fact. Anyways, okay. First example here, using ser. Yo soy Nate. Okay? Yo soy Nate. Now, the reason I put this yo in parentheses here is because it's not necessary to say yo soy Nate. I can just say soy Nate. Okay? Because in Spanish, right, this right here is telling us, hey, if we're saying soy, that means that we're talking about the yo person, okay? Because we understand our conjugation rules for ser in the present tense, okay? Yo soy Nate. So either way, okay, most times Spanish speakers are going to add that little word there. They're just going to say soy Nate, okay? Next, tú eras estudiante, okay? You were a student. You used to be a student, okay? But you're not anymore. Now, with ser in the past tense, it can get a little bit confusing because like we talked about, ser is used for things that are permanent. So how could it be that this, okay, was permanent, but now you're not a student? This is where it kind of gets a little funny. It's kind of like this ugly gray area, okay? But the idea here is, well, when you were a student, that was something that was continually going on, okay? Kind of weird, but that's kind of how it works. It can get a little confusing, but I promise you, the more and more you're listening to Spanish, the more and more you're immersing yourself in the language, the more that this is going to make sense to you, and it will be kind of less kind of grayish. Okay? All right, so tú eras estudiante. You were a student. You used to be a student. Okay? Ayer fue sábado. Yesterday was Saturday. Okay, so yesterday was Saturday, and it's over. Okay, we know that it's over, so then we could imply that today is Sunday, which actually today is Tuesday, but just keep that on the down low. Okay, ayer fue sábado. Yesterday was Saturday. Okay, it's over. Ella es de México. Okay, she is from Mexico. Now, sometimes this can be a little confusing for us when we're talking about origins in Spanish, okay? But es de, this means she is of Mexico, which in English we would translate to she is from. Okay, the little word de will become from in English, okay? Ella es de México. She is from Mexico, okay? She is of Mexico. And that's something that's permanent. That's something that's always going to be true because she's always going to be from Mexico, okay? Ellos son mis hermanos. They are my brothers, okay? So this, right, like we talked about how ser has its counterpart, its evil counterpart, estar. I wouldn't say ellos están mis hermanos because remember, ser is permanent, estar is temporary. That wouldn't make sense. If I said ellos están mis hermanos, that would mean they are my brothers right now. But tomorrow, they're not going to be my brothers. That's kind of the idea that's going on here. Whereas son, right, is permanent. Okay, they are my brothers. They're always going to be my brothers. Okay, ellos son mis hermanos. Okay, now I have a little fill in the blank here that I want you to do. Okay, so nosotros blank profesores. Okay, so what would we put here? Okay, if we were doing the present tense, we would do. You can pause the video if you're not ready. Nosotros somos profesores. Nosotros somos profesores. We are professors. Okay? Now, we could also put this in the imperfect tense. Nosotros éramos profesores. We were professors. Or, we used to be professors. Okay? Nosotros somos profesores. We are professors. Or, nosotros éramos profesores. We used to be professors. Okay? Well, I hope all this has made sense. Like I said, feel free to take a photo of these little charts right here. They're super useful. And of course, these aren't the only tenses that we can conjugate the verb ser into, but these are the three most important ones. All right, well, if you have any extra questions, concerns, comments, you're confused, just leave me a comment on this video. You can also send me an email at SpanishWithNate@gmail.com, or you can also do support@SpanishWithNate.com, and you can check out my website, SpanishWithNate.com, to check out my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Muchas gracias por ver esta lección. Espero que tengas muy buen día y estamos hablando. Adiós.